All right, guys, welcome to the Unfiltered podcast. That is unfiltered without the E. We're going to have a great show for you today. Let's get it.
With Eric and Ange.
All right, guys, once again, welcome. We got a great show for you today.
Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for anyone that is here. I know y'all probably got food coma, trick the fam, all the above, but thanks for being awake.
Yep. Also, hopefully you guys are tuning in from that live that I just did. So, trusting's a little bit funny.
Trosteen is full, like, I don't even know. I've never dealt with someone that is a little bit that delusional. I understand comedy, but he's crossing the line of comedy and just full blown, like, you need a straight jacket at this point.
Yo, that's actually funny, but not really. Because she's been through some shit. But I'll let him talk to you about that personally.
No, I'm not a therapist. Like, you can't act this crazy in public, and then someone's supposed to be sensitive towards the footsteps of what you've been through in life.
Yeah.
It's supposed to mask it enough for me to be intrigued, not full blown show your ass and tails. Respectfully, disrespectfully. Anyways, I wanted to talk and I want to go into deep subjects today. It's Thanksgiving. We have things to be thankful about. But to be thankful, you have to go through shit.
Right.
And you're one crazy motherfucker. So I feel like I'm crazy too. I'm sure we both have things that we could talk about each other.
Right.
We are similar and we're also very different. Very different. It's weird because we do get along. We have like a common foundation.
We do.
But then there's this really strong division of where we just don't. I don't know if that's like a good thing when it comes to coexisting with somebody where I get along with you, but I don't agree with a lot of things you say or do.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. Like, you'll tell me
though.
it's healthy, but I think it's going to have to get to a point where we eventually learn how to merge and find the source of that. So prior to this, I was like, let's name down 3 things that we dislike about each other.
Okay.
And that we noticed about each other. It doesn't necessarily affect me. Because I mean, so far anything that you've done that I haven't liked, we've broken it down, we've discussed it. But these are just things that I've noticed. It's nothing personal, but it is projected onto almost every part of your life, and we work together, so I've noticed this a lot.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm gonna start with just one at a time.
All right.
And before we can go into that, no hard feelings. So.
Oh shit! Disclaimer.
No hard feelings, and 2. Don't flip this whole table over. Anyways,
Gotcha.
The number 1, my biggest thing I've noticed about you is like you have anger issues.
Oh shit.
You have anger issues.
Okay.
And I'll follow through by saying it's not something that you choose. It's just like your source. I've noticed it's a lot of people. Anger people is what they say. The buzzwords and the terms people will cover it up. But the why you're always constantly angry, I feel like it goes back to what you've gone through in life and how you've chose to deal with it, and it just works to how you got here, and ever since then you just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
And now I feel like you're at a milestone in your life where I'm noticing you're trying to change it, but it's still working, so you're holding on to it.
It's true.
Is it true?
It is.
Okay.
It's very true.
But do you think that it's hurting you in any type of way, or do you think it's doing solid for you?
You know, that's a good question, because when being angry got me out of like the hood, you know, I was angry that I was in there. I was angry that that my mom gave me up when I was a kid.
Right.
I was angry that I got trapped in the system. I was angry that I felt like I should have had a dad. Never met my dad.
Right.
I was angry that I felt like I should have had a family. I was angry that, you know, I felt like, damn, I should have had somebody.
Right.
So when you're growing up in the system, you learn real quick in there that you're either a victim or you're a bully.
Right. No, we spoke about this numerous times.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about you, not because we worked here, because you do vocal these things. Do you think that being everything that you've gone through, that it is right that you still carry that's almost like resentment and that anger, it lingers on, like it hinders your actions in the future?
So I've used it to my advantage. Like, for
How?
instance, when I came to Miami, I was like, oh, I'm angry about everything I went through, so I'm gonna come down here and make something positive of myself, because I was just so mad. Like, I was mad. I was tired of being like living like paycheck to paycheck, you know. I was mad at everybody. I was mad at people that gave up on me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be selfish. I'm gonna come down here and work, and I'm not really gonna care about nobody. That's what I did. I focused.
So, I love analogies and metaphors. This reminds me of somebody who pulls off the stunt to get into college and then finds out, what the fuck do I do after I get into college? Like,
Yeah.
let's say you faked a resume and you got in. Cause, like, if I were to interview you, I'm like, wow, I like his energy. I like the drive to want more. I don't know where it's sourcing from, but it could be something you've gone through.
Yeah.
You display that perfectly, like, wow. But now that you're in the door, you're in Miami.
Yeah.
What are you planning to do with your anger?
I think that's where I do really good at getting myself into doors.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I'm in there, I'm like, damn, I
It's
didn't
you don't feel accepted. You don't feel like you're with one. Like, what? How is it that you feel once
it
you're in the
it
door?
feels like my expectations were something different and I got some, like, for instance, even with the last people that I worked with, when I went there, I was like, oh yeah, everybody's gonna be loyal to each other.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know? Um, and it just made me realize, like, I didn't want to, like, even with this podcast, I was like, I really don't want to work with that many people. Like, I want the circle to be small,
Mm-hmm.
because when you start trusting people, and then they let you down, it's like, damn, bro, I really was willing to bend over backwards for you, and I didn't get the same in return. So I think for me, anger is also a way to, I think I've used it to escape, like, my real feelings. Cause like I said, I was by myself.
Right.
So I didn't have time to be emotional. So I just,
But do you think anger is a form of being emotional?
well, emotional in a sense of, like, weak. I used anger as, like, strength. I was like, okay, well, no one's gonna fuck with me. And no one does fuck with me.
So this is why I call it. I joke with you a lot, but
Yeah.
within all my jokes, obviously there's truth to it. I call you a caveman, like barbaric,
Yeah.
because I understand. I understand the method to it. I mean, obviously, like I had, I had a brother,
Yeah.
and you remind me of him a lot. He passed away, but like he was the oldest one who was also very like was ADHD, but was never diagnosed. We're Asian, so we don't go to the doctors. We don't say, oh, like there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
He's coping with it weird. Like my brother didn't have a dad, a
Yeah.
biological dad. My mom left him for no damn reason. But long story short, your anger resembles a lot of it, and I've noticed that it's just your way of expressing how you feel because no one's hearing you, and at
Yeah.
the same time, you don't want to deal with anyone's bullshit. So you're choosing to mask it with anger so you can just push off anybody that could threaten you, that could harm you, that could make you feel like you're a nobody.
Hmm.
Which in some defense I can see how it benefits you, but in long term, I think it's detrimental. Like I feel like it could definitely affect what you want to achieve because what you're trying to achieve isn't what you're used to. You're in like a different realm.
Hmm.
So that method is great if you're still in the hood, if you're still in the
Yeah.
in the system. But I think that method is, in my opinion, like watching you, it just resembles a lot of other people that I've noticed that it'll get you in the door, but you want to conquer getting in the door. You want to be the underdog who beats everybody in the door. And I don't know how that's going to help if you're consistently showing anger. Like to me,
Yeah.
anger is weakness. And I know that sucks to say that,
Yeah.
but showing your anger actually makes you like a fragile person because like you're not able to mask it enough. The people around you are watching you.
Right.
And then we spoke about this earlier where if everyone's watching you and they can see you breaking down, you're stressing, your fear, not everyone behind you is scared and fearful. And
Yeah.
this is why we trust the pilot because the pilot isn't going to tell you, hey,
Yeah.
the plane's going down.
Yeah.
The motherfucker will tell you, hey, just put the oxygen mask
Yeah.
on. We're feeling a little heavy in here.
Yeah.
Like you have to, and it sucks because this is why I noticed the CEO, the COO, the managers get paid more than everyone else that isn't employed because you do shoulder a certain type of burden as
Yeah.
far as masking what you feel.
Yeah. Back to what you were saying too. Like, you see that I'm trying to change it. It's
Yes.
because you see that I'm putting myself out of certain positions because of my anger,
Right.
right? But I've always tied anger and pride together. So, like, for instance, when I was a little kid and I was in a group home
Yeah.
and I got jumped by two kids, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna stand up and fight for myself because I'm not gonna just sit here. And I remember one time I was sitting down watching TV and two guys just came up to me randomly, started beating me up.
Of course.
And I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna fight back. You know what I mean? And so I've always attributed anger to also pride. Like, so I'm learning that, especially here in Miami, it's like I'm not a weak person and I don't want to come off like that. So I'm like, okay, how do I channel this to where, like, I can still work with people? But I've noticed that here in Miami, people want to throw their weight around. You know, they
What
have
do you mean throw their weight around? What does
So
that
like
mean?
if they have status or Lambos or they expect to be treated a certain type of way. I come from a place where everybody's treated the same, literally. There's no one's driving Lambos up there. You know what I mean? So
But do you think, but not to cut you off, but do you think that constantly comparing what you're used to, what you see in a space where it's not where you're from or anything of like relevance is like an accurate comparison?
no, because I'm not there anymore.
So why do you do that?
Well, you gotta understand, I've just got here 3-4 months ago
No.
that I moved down.
It's not a judge question. It's just my questioning of how you think and how you're like. For me, I'm thrown in many situations, and never once do I get to use this excuse because I choose to be here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if well, for me, it's just also like I've been this way all my life. It's
Right.
hard to just switch it off.
So
You know
you're
what I mean?
aware of it, and you're trying to.
I've been aware of it because it's got me in trouble before,
Hmm.
but I just didn't care. But now that I'm meeting all these like influencers,
Yeah.
and I've met some celebrities.
Fuck even that. Do you think that building this place here
Yeah,
has made you
even
more
this.
like, oh, it's like almost like having a kid. You think more when you have a kid.
Well, yeah, because like one of the biggest things that I remember Myron saying to me was how like you're part of a brand now.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's like, hey man, we can't be associated with people that are just trying to beat people up. You know
Of
what I mean?
course.
I was like, damn, like I wasn't thinking like that. I'm thinking, hey, I'm just thinking up for myself.
Right.
But he's like, yeah, but you're part of a brand now. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if you beat someone's ass, it's not Eric beat someone's ass. It's F and F.
And that's
You know
essentially
what I
the
mean?
same conversation we had
Yeah.
about some other stuff. I was like, dude, like, I understand what you stand for,
Yeah.
but when you go down, we all go down because we're attached to you. Like, we're all a team now.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm gonna throw everything away because of what stood so right for you, but you become so right that I find out that you end up being wrong
Yeah.
because it doesn't kind of equate to all the situations that we're in. It's right in one aspect, is like that's your preference, that's your pride, that's your ego, and
Right.
you're entitled to that. But when you're working with other people that are beneath you or with you, it's changed. The zip code is different, the environment's
Yeah.
different. And it's like I myself have had to say, like, I've had to push my pride aside because I'm like, bro, I'm working with 3 dudes here. Like, I can't be a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't say, like, you know what I've been through?
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck what I've been through.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen you like struggle with that too, though. Like
Yeah, of
sometimes
course.
you want to speak up and you're like, ugh, you know?
Yeah, because I know now more than ever, me having a good relationship with my boyfriend has helped me as far as a foundation on how to deal with men in general. Like, and this is why I realized when women don't have a good relationship with their fathers, their brothers, their boyfriends or husband,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a good relationship with any man in their life. Their coworkers, the friends they have in their life, because you don't have that set foundation of how to even interact with the opposite sex.
Damn.
So because I have a good relationship with him, when I look at you guys are like my brothers.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, damn, I learned the words that are sensitive to men, not because they're sensitive, because there's some things that are just fighting words.
Right.
There's some words that women can say to each other and it doesn't affect us.
Right.
But when I talk to you guys, I'm like, what y'all are being
Yeah.
that's not the way to deal with things right
Yeah.
now. It's a
Yeah,
logical
yeah.
and if we were women, I'm like, yo, y'all are being bitches right now. But I can't
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually went through that.
Yeah, because I was fucking mad because
Yeah.
and that's why I looked at you. So the story was, you want to tell the story or
Yeah,
no?
let's talk about it. Go ahead. Unfiltered.
This is literally unfiltered. It was like a week straight when this place is supposed to be up, and I in my view, but
Yeah.
you can fire back on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've been throwing out ideas of what I think is right and what
Yeah.
I've done in my own journey of podcasting, my little era, and being here and understanding its new like evolution of it.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it wasn't being heard. I'm not saying it felt because it wasn't existing. Like I named a couple of times on there, like you guys aren't listening to me,
Mhm.
and you have this thing where because you want it so bad, you don't care what anything goes on. You don't care what anyone says. You're gonna say it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, and for me, when it comes to conversation, it's a tag conversation. Like if you go to talk, I'll stop. Even though what I'm saying is, I have to hold that thought to where you're finished.
Mhm.
After that, I'll address that and then continue my conversation. But with you, you tend to just blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Eric, not only are you not listening to me all week, now you're not listening to me right now. So I said something out of pocket.
Yeah.
And you were like, everything got quiet. And you're like, don't say that shit ever again. And then like I just started like crying because I was like, dude, like I understand what frustration is, how anger turns into frustration, vice versa. And this is one of those situations where I'm like, we're not getting anywhere. And then if somebody didn't know you, they're like, oh, he's just an angry ass, barbaric dumbbell. And that she's just a fucking crybaby.
Yeah.
But why do people react this way?
Yeah.
Because no one's listening.
Yeah, no, it's true. And see, that's another thing about like I've noticed about myself that I'm really strong and I just really keep talking even over people.
Hmm.
So then like I remember that day you were like, just shut the fuck up. And
Yeah,
I was like, hold up, bro. Like I don't even let like my family talk
I
to me like
know.
that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and then I was like, oh, but I know you didn't mean it like in a bad way. You were just like, bro, let me talk, you
Yes.
know? And so I was like, okay. But you noticed everybody in the room was like, oh shit, you know?
I had to figure out how to get your attention. And at that time, being like everything was red. Can you say
Yeah.
that there was a week where everything was just red for you?
Yeah. I mean, cause like, we're building a podcast here.
Yes.
That shit is
But
hard.
I understood, like, I was very empathetic towards everything you've gone through in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because I myself, I've been with you in every part of that journey. Like, I had to put a lot of things in my personal life on pause.
Yeah.
I've had to explain to them also, and also be present here because I'm like, bro, he's going through it
Yeah.
in many ways.
Yeah. People don't know.
People don't know. Like, it was emotional, it was financial, it
Yeah.
was like environment, it was coexisting, it was all the above. So
Yeah.
many new like monkey ranches. We're like, dude, like somebody's gonna have to, and I told you, like, we both can't be leading this shit. Like, you're gonna have to lead this or I'm gonna lead this. And I know damn well no guy wants a girl to lead. Like, let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
I'm okay with taking the side hide rule. It's fine. But I told him, like, if you're going to lead, I need you to be strong. I don't give a fuck what you're going through now because I don't give a fuck.
Hmm.
I care. And because you know I care, that should be enough for you to be like, yo, I need to be strong.
Yeah.
I have a team behind me. I have a co-host. She's ready. I have fucking producers. I have directors. Everyone is ready for you.
Yeah. Shout out to the team.
Yeah, no, for real.
Yeah, guys, this is really unfiltered, man. We're actually like, because we didn't plan to talk about this, but now that we're talking about it, yeah, and once we talked about that, I felt like it was never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Like we dealt with it so well, and also, um, for me, it was also like I think you also learned something about me that like as I'm like, damn, if you were a guy, that situation would have played out differently. You know what I mean? Like
Meaning,
meaning like if a guy says that to me,
see, but if I was a guy, I would have never had to shout over you guys. Be real.
no, that's not true.
Yeah.
No,
Bro,
because
be
because I
real.
because I talk to the team and I do the same thing with them sometimes to the point where I even had to apologize one time. So I was like, you know what, guys, I think it was the same night that we were talking. I was like, you know what, I got to do a better job of listening because I usually am such a strong character. I just talk over people, and so I learned a lot that night about everybody. The whole team learned a lot. That's what people don't understand too. Is like people think we're just here and like everything's so cool, but like we're all working together all the time. We're getting to know each other. It's a lot of strong character traits, and we're all sometimes going at each other. Um, but overall, man, we do a great job together. I'm really excited about this, where this is going. But yeah, back to the anger situation. I'm working on it, man.
But at least you're working on it.
Yeah, I'm really working on it.
Okay.
It's not easy though.
No, well,
but
it's not easy, but
yeah,
I again, like, I try not to be biased about anything. And like,
yeah,
I talk to a lot of girls, a lot of like girls for work and all that stuff. And when I hear the things that they've gone through, sometimes it's not as like as bad as anywhere the shit that I've gone through. And you've
yeah.
heard the shit that I've gone through.
Mhm,
And I'm like, who the fuck are you to sit here and paint your life up to be this shitty when you haven't even gone through
mhm,
an ounce of oppression, and you're living your life in misery and projecting that onto other people
yeah,
for what? If you want to be miserable, go create your own little island, your own little peninsula, and go be miserable and create a whole cult of that.
yeah,
But I don't believe in, like, if I walk into an environment and I want your job, his job, her job, it's not my job to come and say like, this is my badge, this is what I've been through.
mhm.
Respect this shit. I don't believe in that. Like, to me, like, I've had to work my way up to the top.
Right.
So if I want to get what you have, I'm going to have to learn how to mask it, learn how to coexist, learn how to respect, even if I feel disrespected. And I guess as a female, it's different. We take disrespect different than men, and I understand that. But for me, learning how to coexist and work my way up and create the value that I want to be respected for,
Mhm.
it's just different. And
Yeah.
and like, I don't get to use that what I've been through card. Like, nobody cares because
Right.
there's so many girls just saturating that conversation that I can't say that.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, I'm glad that you felt comfortable enough to talk about this because again, none of this was planned, right? And yeah, I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself. So
Yeah.
let's get to one of yours though, because I have three that I want to talk about too. Um, I see that you overwork yourself sometimes.
um
Like for instance, the other day, right? You came straight home to to my place, my studio, and you were like oh, we're gonna shoot right away. Like we had maybe like less than an hour to prep.
Yeah.
Literally the first episode, right? And I was like, bro, are you good? Like I know that you were coming from doing your thing, and I'm like, all right, what the heck, you know, like, and yet we made it happen. But you overwork yourself a lot.
Everybody says that I overwork myself, but I think it's one of those things where like I have always worked like and not to be funny, but like I've worked since I was a kid. Like my parents opened up a nail salon when I was well beyond like underage. Like they opened up a salon when I was like 10,
Mm-hmm.
and then they opened another one in the hood when I was supposed to be going to high school.
Yeah.
So for me, like I'm used to working, and they only hired me as an employee. That I never got paid.
How old were you?
So when I was going to be a freshman, I was going to tech. They opened up this salon. We worked during the summer, and when you're during summer, you don't do shit. So I was like, okay, I get to help do this. I was all happy. Like I was proud that my family opened the salon.
Yeah.
I was completely oblivious to the fact that we were straight in the projects. Like we were
Yeah.
the only Asians there. But I was used to it. We've always been around them. And when summer was over, I took the transfer bus to go to school. Next thing you know, they're saying like, hey, like you're gone for half the day. You don't get to work till like 4 or 5 p.m. We don't open until 4 or 5 p.m. So we're gonna need you to drop out of school. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, wait, I just made some cool friends. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And I was like, let me just like try like online classes. Maybe I get to still go to school and do some things. And I did that, and I realized like I don't have the attention span to work
Yeah.
and do that. But I didn't know how to verbalize that. So I would work, get out of school at 4 or 5 p.m. And I'll tell them, let me just do both. I went to school 4 hours, wake up at 5 a.m., take the transfer bus. Next thing you know, we'd work from 5 p.m. all the way to 1 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'd sleep for a couple hours, wake up, do the same. So I'm used to that. But I think there's a difference between living off of survival mode for so long and then you cross over to, I want more.
Yeah.
And me wanting more is just because like I have a different set of family now where they're used to active income. They work really hard for their money. And a part of me that I'm so exposed to so much more richer people, wealthier people, people who have created something of themselves, walking in the same footsteps. I'm like, well, why does my journey stop here?
Mm-hmm.
Because of what I've been through. So I'm 28 now. I have 2 more years from 30. I'm like, bro, let me just push out these last 2 years before I sit down and just have a kid and become a housewife and, like figure out how to modernize what I think my life should be.
Yeah.
So I'm not really exhausted. And it's crazy because people will look at me like, bro, how are you not tired? I don't feel tired. Because when I look at the stuff that I've done and the stuff that we're doing, I'm proud of it.
Yeah, this podcast.
The podcast, the shop back at home.
Yeah.
The way that people are talking to me, of substance, I like that, and that gives me a high. It gives me a drive to keep doing it. So it's hard for me to be tired.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I don't know if I answered it, but
do you feel like you overwork yourself like to the point where you're using it? Like some people overwork themselves to try to like get over stuff.
I don't feel like I'm going through any. The only things that I truly go through, like I think things are supposed to be up and down, and we're supposed to go through hiccups to achieve and be better. Like you and I, we bump heads, and then we come to a conclusion, and then we come out with the better answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's exhausting.
Yeah,
it is. But is it worth it? Yeah, I've seen people who sleep 8 hours and wake up and do the same 5 things every day. They have a full night's of rest. They ate breakfast, but they're not doing shit in life. I don't want to be that way. I want to spend every minute of my day doing something useful, benefiting. And when I put my head down, I see people say, "Oh, I have a hard time sleeping." How? If you've exhausted your fucking day, there's no reason that you cannot sleep when your head hits the pillow.
Right.
When my head hits the pillow, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm cold for like 5-6 hours, and then I'm good. And I'm happy with that. I wake up, I still do my thing. I'm not a complete bitch to you guys. I have a decent, happy relationship. My family loves me. I don't see where the downfall in that is. Like, is it normal? No. But who says normal is good sometimes? Like, normal is so saturated and played out and abused at this point. I'm happy with this. And I'm happy that the girls who do look at me are like, bro, I want to do what you're doing. I don't think they'll be able to, but at least a portion of it will at least benefit their life.
Right.
So.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat, by the way. I see you guys commenting over here, and just want to let you know that we're keeping track of that. Also, I see a few of you guys that are asking about the merch. We did just get new merch. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's our logo. We have hoodies coming soon as well, and if you guys want to cop some, you just have to DM either Angela, myself, or the Unfiltered podcast.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do like pre-orders, so we kind of have an idea because it's so new that we're still working out kinks here. We're waiting for a bunch of stuff to still come in. This is just something we really needed because we were wearing some crazy stuff on
Yeah.
here. So I was like, let's just get some merch for now. But like, we'll have some pre-orders just to make it simple for everybody.
Yeah. So moving on to the second thing.
Yes. Pessimistic.
Okay. Yeah. You're hitting hard.
That pessimistic crosses over to almost like that's the best word I can use. But
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
tend to cook up situations to be worse than what they could be, and then I don't agree with it because you would sit here and be like, yo, Ange, you're too nice for something. And I don't think I'm too nice.
Yeah.
I just think that I handle things different than you. Like,
Mhm.
you attack right away. I wait to attack. Like, for
Yeah.
example, like I have family members who do like jujitsu. You
Mhm.
know, like to know what people's moves are, you have to open up your guard, which means you might break an arm or break a leg. But if you watch them close enough with good timing, you could literally tap them out in literally 10 seconds.
Mhm.
And that's how I do everything.
Yeah. See that actually you explained it very well. You said that I attack right away.
Yeah.
I do. I'm like, though I've always seen it like, and again, it comes a lot from what I've dealt with and the places I've been to. But in certain situations, like you have to attack it right away. You can't let it play out, especially like when it comes to family and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, yes. I think so. That's the thing. It depends on the situation. But for me, like, I don't, every problem that we have or in general in life, like, I try to solve the problem first. And the things that happen now are almost things that you can't predict, but you kind of can have an idea. It's not as like someone could hurt your family for me, or someone could key your car. Like, I'm not in that type of crazy, like, reality drama, like reality TV drama. That shit's crazy. But for me, it's stuff like, your credit score could drastically drop, or, you could lose your entire podcasting thing. Like, it's stuff like that where like I have to strategize and strategically plan what I do. And with you, I think that it keeps going back to what you've been through, because I'm like, Eric, that's not what we're worried about here. Like, if we deal with something that's a current drama, current modern day bullshit that comes with the works, that comes with being in this industry, you're gonna have to strategize at XYZ. And you're like, okay, well,
Mhm.
I'm used to ABC.
Mhm.
I'm like, well, we're not dealing with ABC, we're dealing with XYZ.
Right.
And I've noticed that you're like, well, no, 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 no. I'm used to it being this way. And I'm like, bro, like, you're being a pessimistic right now. Like, you're thinking of the worst situation where I don't think there's a plenty of faces in this zip code, for example,
Mhm.
but they all kind of act the same. So you can kind of predict what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Different faces don't mean shit for me. Different cars don't mean shit for me.
Right.
So your moves says a lot about you. And for me, I can predict what people are going to do. So I know my answer, but because I think we're still new to each other,
Mhm.
you need to see it play out for you to believe it. And I think that's the chance I'm not willing to take. I don't take chances.
Yeah.
Like, and for you, you don't, it's not that you don't take chances, but you're willing to go down with it. So that is a
Yeah.
chance within itself.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm like, fuck it. If I'm gonna go down, you're going down too. I've always had that attitude. Yeah, but it goes back to what we talked about earlier. I'm still thinking back from the old days.
Right.
Well, I'm in Miami now. I gotta adapt to this shit.
Right.
People here are fake. People will shake your hand, smile
But
in
do you
your
think it's
face.
just here?
I mean, I haven't really lived anywhere else besides up in the DMV. So Miami's like a whole different place, man. I mean, you can be super successful here, but you have to basically learn how to play people here.
I think it's like that everywhere, though.
No, not so
No,
much.
I think people are like that everywhere, but how they choose to display it is different. There's people that are upfront about it, and there's people that are snakes about it. Because I think life, when you interact with somebody, that itself is a game. It immediately, like, you push the start button for game, in a sense where if I don't hold up my end, you have room to check me, vice versa. Some people just be like, here, everyone's on a time frame. They're trying to pay their rent. They're trying to keep up with the Jones. They don't have time to slowly swab their way into shit.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I mean. Like up north, except for like maybe New York,
Mm.
no one's really doing that. Like Maryland's a very chill state. Even DC. DC's a city, but
But they don't have that as much as what people
no,
have here.
Virginia's very chill. Like,
Yeah, but
and
like,
that's
these
know
are
what I mean.
places where like people are not wanting more.
No, it's Commonwealth. Like people are just they're not trying to live in mansions and Lambos. You know what I mean? They're just chilling. So
So why do you like this place then?
'cause I've always wanted more for myself. I can get more for myself down here because I'm really good with selling to people. So, but yeah, I've learned that when you come down here and you deal with all these different personalities, people here want you to shake their hand and also like bow your head at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it's different. Like up there, if you're working with someone, it's just a straight handshake and you know what they're gonna provide for you, and you know what they expect of you, and it's just like a very easy transaction. Over here, you see people talk shit about each other and then literally like take a picture at the club together. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't engage into it. But maybe I'm childish for this, but I think the world is full of shitty people, but there's also good people on in it. But I think good people are just keeping their head down and working
Mm-hmm.
and not engaging into it. And that's why, like, when you guys tell me, like, we got to go here and do this, you got to go to the club to promote. I don't want to go to the fucking club.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I like, I understand there's different ways to advertise yourself, but I think there are authentic people in every zip code in every spot of the world. They just don't vocalize themselves. Cause, like, when I started speaking on these subjects,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of girls reached out to me finally and goes, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I can't speak on it because the other girls will bash me.
Yeah.
Same thing with men.
Well,
So,
I saw a lot of this fake shit when I was working with like FNF. I literally saw a guy. I don't know if I should say his name. I literally saw him come to the podcast, and like everybody was all cool with each other.
mm-hmm,
The dude is literally like best friends with fucking Jake Paul. Jake Paul was literally one of the main dudes that was talking shit about Andrew Tate,
mm-hmm,
right? And yet they all sit here and work together, even though like there's clear lines that were drawn. They don't fuck with Jake Paul or the other white brother, the other dude, I forgot his
mm-hmm,
name, Logan Paul.
mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, they'll still sit here and do interviews with each other because of the fan base that each other has. So they'll use each other, but in reality, they'll walk away from them not really liking each other. So that's what I mean. It's like Miami's definitely a lot fake. It's more than I'm used to in Maryland.
Well, I agree with that. I think Miami's a lot bigger because it's sunnier here. It's a lot of naked people here. It's more
Yeah.
of an incentive to want to do these things to get richer, to be wealthier. Like that, people care so much about numbers that they don't care about how they get it, and that's where I draw the line at.
Yeah.
I care about how you get these numbers. I'm not trying to get, I don't know, a bunch of numbers and then feel like I lost a piece of myself.
Yeah.
You can be authentic almost anywhere and still grow. Maybe not as fast, but you can definitely get there. And also, I think it depends on who's claiming you to be of credibility. Who's saying like, "Oh, this person is the shit."
Mm-hmm.
Look at who's saying that's a crackhead on the side of the street. I don't care what you think of me.
Right.
Like to me, I've never compared. Like I was growing up, I would say I want to be better, like than my parents. What my parents did.
Right.
Then you realize like, why are you comparing yourself? Like, no
Your
offense to my parents,
parents.
but like my parents were from out of the States. They were living off the government. They didn't really get far in life.
Yeah.
Why am I comparing myself to the bare minimum? I want more. I want to compare myself to the best. And even if I don't get to be 100% them, at least I'll get 80, 70, 60, better than what my parents could achieve so that I could shower them with an umbrella of like, this is what life could be. This is what it should be. And instead of projecting my anger onto what I lived through, you can change an entire like generation curse.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel good. So, that was, what was the second one we
That was
talked
the
about?
second one. Yeah. Yeah. You said I was pessimistic.
Yeah. But that
Um,
correlates with you going back to change that because of everything you've been through, is what you're saying.
yeah. Everything. I mean, I think the way everybody acts goes back to what they've been through, what they've come from.
I agree, but it just really, how far are you willing to? The word mask, it sounds like you're dismissing the fact that you've gone through it. I wouldn't say you're dismissing it. I don't think I dismiss what I've gone through. I just think that I'm waiting to be in a room full of people that I can talk to about it, or relate to, or agree with, or recognize like, you've been through this shit too, haven't you? Because we have similar XYZ. Like you and I, we've touched on certain subjects where I can tell we're similar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just tell somebody that. Like I don't talk about these things because it's not that I'm sensitive. People don't care to hear it because I don't need the pity. I could care less.
Yeah. And I think also like there's a lot of people, like for instance, working with FNF, I realized that there was so many fans that would reach out to me and they would think the way that things are portrayed on screen, they don't understand that it's not like that once the show is over. You know what I mean? So people are really like struggling with stuff. Like, one of them would go straight up to his place, after the show because the dude was antisocial. You know what I mean? But like on screen, you would think, everything was good, but it's really not. A lot of people, especially like during the holidays, Thanksgiving, you know how many people are alone right now?
Yeah.
So how many people like lost family members? How many people probably like me don't have a family or haven't met their dad or shit, felt like they wanted to not exist anymore. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but
Unalive. That's the
unalive,
thing.
yeah.
Unalive yourself.
So but like especially men, I feel like men, especially more than anybody, like they just pretend like they're not going through shit, and they really are. So
How do you think the best way? Because I think that men do, like you said, they do go through a lot of things. But what is the best way to cope with that, in your opinion, for
I,
men?
I think, to be honest, like if society made it more acceptable for men, because like even men can't go to men, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like for instance, I like earlier today I was zoning out, and we were planning for tonight's show,
Hmm.
and I didn't even know I was doing it. I'm just zoning out. I'm on my phone. I'm looking at the view, and I'm thinking like, damn, I'm in Miami. My family's back in Maryland.
Hmm.
I wish I was back in Maryland at least for like tonight, just to spend it with them. But I know I can't. You know what I mean? So, but I'm over there like dealing with it in my own way, and then you come out and you were like, yo, like, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But I can't even tell you like, nah, actually, like I'm kind of blown about this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because it's not really in me to do that in the first place, but it's also not socially acceptable for men to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of like down right now because I really wish I could be with my family tonight, but I can't. You know what I mean? So
So I have something to touch on that. I get what you're saying, because there's, how do I say this? Does it actually make men feel good to sit there and say that?
does it make men feel good to say that?
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't say it.
But if, let's say it was you
I
could
mean,
say,
I think it would feel good like if I said it to somebody else and they could relate. I'm not necessarily looking for a hug. You know what I
right.
mean?
So I think that that's what you're saying. Society would make it more acceptable, but society as a whole,
Mhm.
society as a whole,
Yeah.
why does anyone care what society thinks? Is my question.
I mean, we're judged based off society. You
But
know
if
what I mean?
society doesn't benefit you, what does it matter if they hear how
But
you
that's
feel?
it. You're right. It doesn't, but it makes us think that it does. That's why people care so much about how they look on Instagram
Yeah,
pictures. You know what I
people. But
mean?
that's what I'm saying. What about for you? Because right now, I would say for me, um, being in an environment where I'm working around men, understand, told you my relationship with my boyfriend has made it a lot better for me to understand how men think.
Hmm.
I've noticed before, I would say the same thing, like, why can't you just express what you're going through? Like,
Yeah.
I know you're going through shit. And I've noticed that it doesn't feel good to sit there. Like, let's say you finally get the spot to say it.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I'm going through this. I'm stressed out about this. Da, da, da.
Hmm.
And you're telling that to somebody that looks up to you.
Hmm.
And now you just put them in frantic mode to say
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
hey, the person that I look up to is not doing well right now.
Yeah.
I can't even help you.
That's also another reason why I don't do it, because like I'm in a position where I'm leading, right? And it's like, what I'm gonna do is tell you my problems. You have the same issues. You're here, your family's not here. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like, what am I gonna do? What are we gonna sit here and complain about that
But
shit?
we had like a conversation where we did express it, and then I sat there and I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Hmm.
Why did I even fucking express it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't because it was anything you did. It's just in general, because I've noticed like if something's broken, my boyfriend, he would fix it.
Hmm.
He would fix it, and then like a week later be like, he'll watch to see if it breaks again, if it's good, and he'll say, hey, I was like, hey, I noticed like last week something was off. Like, are you good? And it's my job as a partner. Like, if I don't notice what you do, or my boyfriend or anyone around me that I work with, if I don't acknowledge that there's something off about you, I would say that I'm shitty.
Hmm.
And people say, well, you put that so hard. No, if you love someone, you should recognize the patterns that they go through. If I notice that if you're on your phone, you're staring extra, I'm like, what's wrong, Eric?
Hmm.
Because I know like you're zooming in extra hard. You have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
grandpa stare where you just zoom super hard in. So I have to know there's something wrong with you. You don't
Yeah.
look like you're at ease. So when I say that to him, he goes, actually, I'm glad you asked. And he says, I'm glad you asked. Last week, this was going on. And I was stressed out. I went to 5 different stores to find this piece and I couldn't find it. And I finally found it. I fixed it. Da, 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 da. He walked me through the stress.
Hmm.
The only reason why he could walk me through the stress is because he conquered it. He fixed it.
Hmm.
And now he feels like he's accomplished it enough
Yep.
to express it to me. And I think that's a different level of expressing how you feel.
Hmm.
That people don't tap into because they're fixated on feeling validated on how they feel instead of solving how they feel first.
Right.
And that's why like we're talking about this.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, and most women don't even care what men are going through.
Yeah, but that's why I go on my TikToks and stuff. It sounds like I'm bashing women, but my thing is like bring awareness to your surrounding, bring awareness to yourself. If you're not even aware that what you're expressing or what you're showing onto the world, you think you're going to be aware of your partner,
Right.
your family. People are very hard on their parents. I'm not saying all parents are great, but I like my parents. I think people have shitty parents, yes. But I'm more so on the what and the why. Let's talk about why our parents became this fucked up and how we had to take the hit for it. And what did you choose to do with what your parents have given you,
Mhm.
whether it's a little bit or a lot? And for me, I didn't have a lot, but I made so much more out of it that I know, like, when they do see me online or when they do hear about me, it's nothing but good news. And like, even as parents who couldn't give me a lot, I don't want them to die with that sincere regret of like, damn, I'm a shitty parent. I want them to be like, you know what? At least she made something of herself.
Yeah.
And that's the least I can do for someone, even those who have wronged me, which people would say like that's stupid. It benefits me to be this way, and it even benefits me when my enemies, the people who don't wish well for me, people who have hurt me and wronged me, to look at me and say, you know what, damn man, I missed out on that one right there. I fucked up on that one right there, as opposed to me giving them every reason to hate me.
Mhm.
And this is why I think it's important that women have to be aware of themselves, of their partner, instead of just being a pillow princess and expecting people to give you what you want because of what the standard in society tells you that you deserve.
Right. Let me ask you a question since you were touching on like your parents. I'm not talking about your parents specifically, but why do you think that parents allow their kids to go through the same thing that they went through?
I don't think so. I take the word parents out when that topic hits.
Mhm.
I think that right now you're technically a dad. You have two, you have kids. So, but if someone looks at you that doesn't know you, they don't look at you as a parent. They just look at you as Eric.
Mhm.
You're going to make decisions that doesn't benefit you as the title of a dad,
Mhm.
but you're not thinking at it from that point of view. So there's things that could be going on in, let's say, someone else's life that could hurt their kids because they're too busy being their own person. They're not thinking about how it could affect their kids.
Mhm.
And when they do hear about it, they're still so welted up in their own bullshit in life that they're like, listen, I didn't mean to have you anyways. In their mind, it's that people are selfish naturally, because when you're deprived of opportunities and what you want in life, the last thing you're thinking about as someone that may look like the man you hate, for women, for example, if you look like the baby daddy that you don't like, and you're caught up in debt, you look like shit, you yourself don't have parents, how can you love someone or something more than yourself? And I think that's why like parents make this decision and people hate their parents so much, because your parents end up putting you in this position where you're like, you're supposed to be my mom and dad. That's the innocence. And most people that are saying, why did my mom and dad let me?
Mhm.
But I've looked at my parents and said, you know what? I wish you guys never did this, put me in this position, but I'm glad that I was able to be in the position where I took myself out of it and look back and change the cycle, break the cycle to where nobody can take that away from me. And also not live life with this burden on my shoulder. I don't want people to look at me and be like, she looks like she doesn't have parents. Like, people tell me all the time, she must got a good dad.
Mhm.
I don't have a fucking dad. But the things that I talk about kind of correlates with, she must have a strong man figure in her life to know the things that she know.
Mhm.
I don't want you to be able to read me. I want to be able to hold that as like a high ticket. And then when I circle myself in a room full of people that I trust,
Mhm.
I could talk about it. They'd be like, whoa, bro, like the people think that you are this way. And I know this. That is way more valuable
Right.
than letting what your parents have done to you, even though it's wrong. But after you deemed as a victim, then what?
Right.
You don't get a trophy for being a victim. That's the shitty part.
What would you say to the people that have had parents, like, let's say, damn, I don't want to get too deep into it, but let's say a parent went through some trauma, right?
Mhm.
And for some reason, even though they didn't, because I don't think parents actually plan to let their kids go
Right.
through stuff. But let's say the kid went through the exact same stuff.
Mhm.
Why do you think that parents don't go out of their way to try to prevent, like, let's say, just for an example, right? Let's
Mhm.
say that a kid or someone got like, damn, I don't even know what words we can say, but like molested, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or done something around there, right?
Yeah.
And the mom has gone through it, and then the daughter goes through it. I'm like, damn, wouldn't that make you want to like take every fucking possible like precaution
Mhm.
to make sure that your daughter never went through that?
Right.
And then also, why is it that it's so hard for parents to also admit that they could have been better, and that, like, hey, I messed up, like I
Right.
put you in a tough situation? Why do you think that happens?
Again, I think it goes back to me saying that parents are humans. Like, they're not as godly as we play them out to be. They're only as a god as what they've created valuable to us. But when they haven't created shit, they're just humans. And again, this podcast is about the majority people, not the minority. So majority of people who go through shit don't make it out of it. That's why there's this very small percentage of successful people that are successful who have gone through shit, then you would least expect it. Most people look like their problems. So to say that they're going to prevent it would say that they solved their own problem. And if you solved your own problem, you wouldn't have to worry about, I don't know, that happening again. So I don't think that they mean to for that to happen. But it just happens at the same time. Like if your parents watches, if the situation you just said, the story of somebody being touched as a kid,
Right.
and the mom went through it also.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have therapy. Like let's say like my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what my mom went through. I never got to talk to her about it.
Okay.
But I would assume it was something similar in that sense. She didn't have therapy back then.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, everybody has an internet therapy session or whatever the hell it is. We have coping mechanisms to deal with our feelings. Back then, she got a bottle slammed up her head, a beer bottle or something.
Okay.
That was her dealing with fuck, like, all right, this is life, I accept it. And, you know, and people have sex and they have kids and they don't think about like this could happen to my child. They would never. What would you think that would happen to your child after you? Because the person that did it to you, let's say, for example, let's say the person who did it to you was like someone older. Why would you think that would happen to your child?
No, but I actually think the opposite. I'm like, if you went through something, right,
Mm-hmm.
especially something of that traumatic, wouldn't you be like, hey, well, this is definitely capable of happening to my kid because I went through it, right? It's kind of like if, all right, let's just, for an example, say that you were walking down the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some guy just came up to you and like stole your purse and ran away with it. It's like normal people wouldn't think of stuff like that because, you know, like it doesn't really happen to everybody.
Right.
But for someone like you, you'd be like, damn, that actually happened to me. I'm going to make sure that my best friend or my sister or my mom or my daughter
Right.
is aware that this is a possibility when you're walking out at night or, you know, wherever it happened.
Okay.
Why not think like that?
Because that's almost like living life in fear. I think it's one extreme or the other. I'm not saying you're not wrong or right. I think that yes, these things do happen, but it's almost there's a borderline between it being too common and then thinking too pessimistic in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say like my mom, she didn't expect for me to have this like strange decision, say like, fuck this, I don't want to be home anymore. I'm leaving. You guys are overworking me, blah, blah, blah. And that same thing happened to her. She thought her method was slightly different than what she grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing when you go from one extreme to the other, like if you look at politics, left is fucking crazy, right is too crazy also.
Right.
My mom tried to change the direction of it. I'm not saying it was possible. Like if you're coming from living off the government, you don't really have that much tools to work with.
Right.
So you're thinking, all right, this is, you've seen so many broke people who say, I'm going to build a family I never had. You haven't even done any self-improvement. Why do you think that making a family, just creating a family is going to change your course of life?
Right.
You can't say that you've seen a lot of people do that.
No, I haven't.
You haven't seen people do that, or you have seen people do that?
I have. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm like, because that's what people do. Their coping mechanism. Am I supposed to be reading this?
Yeah, some of the chat. Sorry, they're going off.
Oh, I can see the chat also.
Okay.
It's Trilstein. He's going off like barnacles. Trilstein is like a one-man circus. Like that guy is just on a roll. But no, let's go back to the fact that I think it's too extreme. Again, like I'm gonna tell you one quick story because I know we're closing up on time, but like
Mm-hmm.
I moved 3 different schools.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to the Alonzo, I sat at this table full of misfits. And I had previously, like I went through many identity crises. One, I grew up in the hood, so I thought I was ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to this white ass school where everyone was white as hell. Then I sat at a table where there was like a mixture of strange misfits. And I was soaking in what I've gone through. I was like, man, where am I going to sleep this week? Because I was couch surfing at the time. I didn't have parents. And I'm going to a new school where I don't feel accepted. Like they couldn't tell I was Asian or Guatemalan because my hair was so scrunched up. Like I looked very confusing. Like my tone right now, like if anyone here, like I think I saw my friend April. April knew me when I was hood. April didn't even talk to me when I was in school because we were both bitches. And then like the Asian girls didn't talk to me.
Yeah.
But then I sat at this table and we're all weird. You can tell everyone's like in their emo hoodie on their fucking huge iPod, listening to whatever emo music we're onto or whatever hood rat shit. And next thing you know, I was soaking in it. And then I just like, you know what? I'm probably going to eat here every day. Let me just make peace with these girls. Mm-hmm. Then I start talking to each one of them. Then I realized their stories were all similar. Everyone at that table had been whether molested, they had been kicked out, they had been abused in some form or way. And here I was thinking I was special. Mm-hmm. Here I was thinking like, oh, I'm a victim. The victim mentality. Yeah. That immediately shredded away when I realized I was not the only one. And that I need to get my panties in a wad and stop thinking that this is going to be my characteristic for life.
Right, right.
So immediately I was like, all right, put that in the back of your mind, graduate school, and figure what the fuck you're gonna do with your life. Yeah. Because sitting at this table and being made fun of and not feeling accepted, even though I love those girls at the time, I didn't feel accepted at that school. And I also don't know why I even thought about what I've gone through, because nothing was special at that point. Special means that you're the only one going through it, and maybe someone will give you a prize for going through it. But who's going to give you a prize when everyone at that table is just as fucked up, and you look at all the other girls who are wearing bikini butt shorts, who can mask their problems by sexualizing themselves. We were the ugly ones, so we couldn't cover it. Be real, like, I was an ugly dumpling. So for me, it was like, bro, like, I can't sit here and get all like the hot football guys to be like, yo, Angie's so cool.
Yeah.
It's for me to ignore what I have gone through, because regardless, you're probably still going through it, but you can mask it away. So I don't think that people can change their situations. What I'm saying, you can just acknowledge it and then better yourself, self-improvement, and then move on. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah.
So,
well, good breakdown. Let's hit some of these chats real quick.
Trillstein, go suck a dick. With that being said, baby, I don't even want to read Trillstein. Like, I don't understand this guy.
Did you scroll all the way up? Or
I'm at the very bottom, working my way up. So, let's see who we want to talk to today. I can't wait for the super chat stuff to happen so we can highlight who we want to talk about, because this is so messy. Oh, somebody said Eric has kids.
Yeah, you just told them that I had kids.
I didn't know it was a super secret.
I mean, a lot of these people only know me from FNF, but holy shit, there's so many chats.
April's here. She almost missed it.
April, welcome.
The Kathy. Wait, I don't know if Kathy's still here. Kathy is the Asian girl, the British Asian girl I was telling you about. Remember her? That was on FNF?
British? No, I don't
British
remember.
Asian girl that lives here in Miami with the penthouse.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, she's in here?
Kathy Energy.
Shout out to you.
Yes, right there. She goes, all right, I have a question. I'm not from Miami nor America. Why does everybody warn me that everyone plays here and I got to be careful? I don't want to go around being super suspicious of any new friendships. No, she's obviously I said the whole British accent. So she's not from here.
Okay.
And I've noticed, I was on some other debates with people, and everyone that's on that side of the world is not fully aware of how shitty the West is.
Yeah.
Because they're so brainwashed by the media and this culture.
They just think New York.
Yeah, no, but everybody here is trying to be cool and flex.
Yeah.
And they don't care who they step on, and they don't care who they shit on. So I think that's what people say when they say that, Kathy. Like, it's I know Kathy. She's actually a genuine person. She gives me hugs, and we've only met for like almost a week now.
Okay.
But she's a very genuine person. But like, you don't meet people like that, and if they are, they have a motive.
Yeah. Shout out to Kathy then.
Shout out to Kathy. We got to get her on here because I like Kathy a lot.
All right.
French is really
Captain Caveman said, okay, I'm trying not to read the dumb ones because it's a lot of dumb ones. And Trillstein is
like flooding it with stupid shit.
That's crazy. All right, let's read this one. There's a guy that says, Captain Caveman said, I don't believe that I drove a truck for 20 years and put in a lot of long hours, put my head in a pillow, and still never could. He's talking about being able to go straight to sleep. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them right now. We'll read them real quick.
I think Basil literally just put one up, but it disappeared. Of Captain.
Someone said, Angela, question.
Yeah.
If you had a man who ended up disabled and made an effort to go back to work as soon as he could, knowing that there is healthy people out there who refuse to work, would you stay?
Would I stay with my man who ended up disabled?
Yes. Let's because I don't know. Let's say he can't work anymore and he's in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Would you stay with him?
See, my answer is gonna sound like I'm lying because people would think that. You know why this is even no. Do you know why this question's even a toss up for hoes nowadays? Because a lot of girls are just dating for like hookup culture.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear someone saying like, "Why would I sacrifice my youth to be with a guy who's handicapped all of a sudden?" But if a guy that you actually, if you date to marry, there's obviously qualities in there that go beyond him just being, in a wheelchair or whatever. So to me personally, loyalty, creed over everything. I just don't think it's right to just cut someone off. It's almost like saying if I gained weight, you just dump me like that. Like,
no, but that's different though. Like
you always say that's just different.
Because if a girl gains weight, we can still have sex. If a guy's disabled and he can't like walk, then he probably can't function down there.
So no. You guys don't understand this. Like, what are you in a relationship for? Sex or for love? Or are you saying that sex is only love?
No, I mean,
because it's funny.
Men correlate love and sex together.
No, yes and yes, they
tied
do.
together.
But we had this. Actually, it's funny. We have this. I had this conversation with him, and we watched a movie on this or something, and he goes like, "What? This is what he told me he would do, and when this is what I would. I totally get
lied.
it. Fuck you.
He lied. What did he say?
No,
He
he
was gonna stay with
wouldn't.
you?
No, it's not that. I told him like he has to, if I were to get like handicap him, were to hand, he's like, I would completely understand if you wanted to leave. But at the same time, he said, because I understand as women, y'all still need sex some form or way, not as much as men. He was like, I would still want to be there for you, with you, because we're thinking long term. Stop
Okay.
smiling at this.
Because I think I know what you're about
Because
to
you're
say.
a fucking pessimistic butthole. That's why.
I think I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to tell my story.
No,
anymore.
go
Fuck
ahead.
This.
All right.
This is
Answer the
so-
question though. If a guy's
I
in
would stay. I love my boyfriend.
if a guy's in a wheelchair, he can't please you anymore. You would stay.
Yeah.
You're the 1% that would stay.
I don't. So the reason why I think compassion is very important, and this is his word for word. One day you can call him and talk about it if you really want to, and that's fine.
After the show.
And he goes, "Listen, dude. At the end of the day, I love you, but our love goes beyond sex. Like for me, I didn't enjoy sex. Like most women do not enjoy sex when they first have sex with men. Until you are emotionally connected. Bullshit. I'm not talking about the broken hose. I don't care about those. Those are here just trying to get a busted nut so they can get your validation. I'm talking about real relationships. Like, I only talk about. I don't care about the hookup shit.
Okay, so real relationships. You guys don't enjoy sex in the beginning
until we are emotionally connected. Until we feel like, wow, we are in the door. This guy checks up on us. He gives us morning text. He takes us out on dates. Like this is going to be a real relationship, not just like I'm gonna be in the closet shit. Like we do it just to do it because we think like, okay, get a taste of this, and then like, oh, maybe he'll like me enough. And this is the gateway to why girls become hoes, because they keep thinking that maybe their vagina will keep the guy interested enough to be around, and that's not how it works. It goes beyond that. You know, it goes beyond like what you carry on as a woman other than your vagina. So to me, when it comes to that conversation with him, my relationship with him has grown beyond just sex. Like it's beyond that, and that's why like I look at the things that people do. I don't relate. Like I genuinely have love for this guy. I do love him a lot. We obviously have been through a lot as far as like learning each other, like how our relationship is with me and you. It's been a lot, but it's like, tell me it's not physical, it's not domestic, but tell me it isn't shit that you probably would not discover working with like cold people. Picture working with cold people as a hookup. You're never going to have these type of conversations because it's like, how can we, when I don't really give a fuck how you feel, but when I care about how you feel, like to me, you don't really grow the fuck up until your responsibility is in someone else's hands or vice versa. When you care about someone else's life or well-being, you truly grow the fuck up because it isn't about you anymore. So that's how my relationship with him.
Cool. So you would stay. You're that 1%.
I'm that gay 1%. So yes.
You're not gay. You're just.
You were smirking at me the whole time I said it.
I don't believe most women would stay.
That's fine. I'm okay with being a liar then.
I didn't say you were a liar.
Well, the internet would think I'm a liar.
All right. Keith Hayes said 10K on BBL, 10K, so you can turn that into 100K. Goes to show the mindset. He's talking about the women down here. W Stream, thank you.
Yo, Trillstein, you need to chill with these comments. That shit's not fucking cool, man.
What is he saying? I'm skipping over him.
Train running. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, Trill, you gotta chill.
You need to chill, man. Like, I don't give a fuck if that's a joke. That's just beyond disrespectful. That's just not fucking cool.
Someone said a car can be fixed, washing machine can be fixed, computer can even be fixed, but a woman truly can't be fixed. I don't think so.
Like, bro, like this is exactly why everyone looks at you like a joke, saying stupid shit like that.
What is he saying? Let me see.
Just going out of control, bro.
He says, W Jerry. I don't know if you know who that is.
It's not a fucking joke. The shit that Trillstein says is shit that he will get his teeth knocked out. If there was an actually guy that my boyfriend was here to knock the fuck out of you. Like that's wild as hell that you would say shit like that.
Oh, you sound like me right now.
Because I'm not fighting. He is. I don't give a fuck. I'm a girl. We don't fight.
Okay.
Double standards all fucking day long, but that's not a joke. Those are fighting words. You ignorant fuck.
Trill, bro, you're doing too much, brother.
Way too fucking much.
What he says, she likes me. Okay, this is just him probably trying to get attention. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's why your other girlfriend dumped you for another guy. So get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Whoa.
Cockwad.
Okay, unfiltered for you guys. Anyways,
let's wrap this shit up, guys. Thanks for tuning in for Thanksgiving. For listening to our top. I think we got 2 things that we didn't like about each other.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, no, because I had 2 other ones. I'm not even gonna lie.
We'll get back to that another episode because Trillstein is literally fucking this shit up.
Hold up. Before we go though, let's answer some of these questions because they took their time to write these. So
who?
There's a few questions in here. Savage X-Man says she'll stay for a bit, then she'll leave because she'll have to constantly make him feel better when he complains about what he can't do anymore.
Yeah, that's what I said. People complain about their shit. I don't have complaints. He doesn't complain. And when you've established a personality of not complaining, that's not a problem. So to each their own.
Dynamic Soul said he defs cheating unsilenced.
That's what I'm
All
saying.
right. Would you support your man if he was pursuing higher education? Would you?
But
Like if your man was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go back to college and I'm gonna let you continue to work and pay the bills," would you support that?
I mean, it depends on what the goal is. Like things that make sense. If you're just doing that shit because you miss college life and being a frat boy, that's stupid as fuck. But if
Yeah.
you're trying to better your relationship or your life or your end game, like, hey, we got a game.
Yeah.
This is our goal. We want to be rich as fuck. Retire at this age. Then sure.
Yeah. Gotcha. Um. All right. So let me see. One more. Outside of sex, what about money? The money aspect. If he can't work anymore, he's not bringing in much income.
Wait,
That's
what?
true. We didn't touch on that.
Say what?
We talked about how if a guy is disabled, you would stay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he also can't provide financially anymore.
Okay.
So that would definitely change the dynamic in the relationship.
It's no. So at that point, if you guys are looking at a traditional relationship, that's no longer a traditional relationship. Like I don't know. Like I've lived a long, like shitty life of
Mhm.
unstable things. Like to me, if I love someone, I love someone, and it's gay as fuck. But I don't have a lot of people in my life
Mhm.
to be acting like I have that type of privilege. And like everything that I do have now, it comes with this podcast shit.
Mhm.
This shit is new. At the same time, I'm not loyal to it. To be really honest, I'm all about loyalty.
Mhm.
I love who I love, and I think about what I've been through and who I've gone through it with. And that person right there has taught me a lot. Like a lot of my personality traits have come from that. And it's a stamp of approval of life for me. And I don't really give a fuck. Like I'm not here to be like, oh, we can't go on Bora Bora. I don't give a fuck about like, bro. When things like that happen, that your whole course of life has changed.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about that. Like my life is not gonna will never be the same, and I'm okay with that. Like it couldn't
Yeah.
be worse. Your life cannot be any worse when you're more alive in your life than when you're like dumb. Like I was naive and dumb. When bad things happened back then, I was shocked.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I ain't shocked. Like, are you kidding me? I expect the worst, but I deal with it the best way. And for that situation, for people that are younger, they'll be like, "But you're missing out on life." That itself is a life experience that I will get to grow and grow. I don't give a fuck. I will live life in a happy coffin, knowing that I did my best. And I'm fine with that.
Damn.
That's just how
You
I
won't
am.
That's not the type of answer that you'd hear from most girls. I mean, like you hear most girls that they'd be like, "Nah, I'm sorry, I'd have to leave."
I know.
That's crazy.
I mean, most of these girls will dump their man for keep Instagram. Like you already know. Like I don't give a fuck about these things. So it's like we've
Yeah.
discussed. Like you and Baze, you have know me enough to know. Like I don't care about the shit that these bitches give a fuck about.
Right.
It's like you can't die with these things. You can't take that Gucci bag in a fucking coffin.
Right.
You can't take those yacht pictures with you and be like, well, I've been here.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. So I'm not saying I'm different, but I just understand like my quality of life is just different. I love it.
Mhm.
And I can see the happiness in everyone. Like everyone that is in my life is extremely happy with me
Yeah.
and their self because I've realized like this is what I bring and what they're bringing to the same. So I just don't believe in this materialistic shit.
Wow. Well, there you guys have it, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here, man. Holy shit, you guys have stayed the whole time. It's Thanksgiving. You guys could be with your family, but you're here with us. Thank you guys so much. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Share this with your friends, your family. And it looks like what there's like we'll take a few more, man. Because this is a good one actually. If your boyfriend wanted to step out and exercise options, how would you respond?
So that's a funny question. That's a broad question to ask, but I would never date someone that is like that. So if I were to date someone like that, then we would just have to break up. If I were chasing after a lifestyle that entailed me to share my boyfriend, I guess I would accept it depending on how old I was. If I was like 35, desperate, and no other options, I guess I have to share you. But there's just a certain caliber of men that I don't chase after to have to deal with those type of problems. So cool question, but I don't think that would apply for me, and I wouldn't deal with it. So
Gotcha. Yo, shout out to Jerry. Jerry, you got a new podcast, bro. Definitely what's up, bro. Just send me the info for that, man. Thanks for supporting us. And my boy Jeff said Murphy's Law, what can happen will happen. So
I agree.
we're gonna head and end the show with that one. Thank you guys again so much. We'll be again live tomorrow, 9 p.m.
Wait, what's tomorrow?
It's Friday.
Oh shit, I thought today was Friday.
Yeah, no, today's Thursday and tomorrow's Black Friday. So hopefully you guys don't go doing any crazy shit. Shop online. Isn't that called Cyber Monday?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
not Monday, so it's Black Friday.
I know, but it's technically the Monday coming up.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Ah.
they have deals for the. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I don't know what these things are.
But thank you guys, man. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys for supporting us. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace out. We did good.